Amazing.
For your birthday, huh? Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
That's a fantastic way to start our session. It just shows that we're not rigid. It shows that we're flexible. And that's what leaders are all about. Thank you so much, TJ. Seriously, thank you for reminding me. I really, truly appreciate that.
You're welcome. I saw it in the chat and I felt like, okay, we have an opportunity. I know we'll still celebrate you tomorrow, but hey, you're here and you spent your entire day with us. So thank you. We do not take that for granted. All right. So we're going to get into our final session. And this is the professional panel session. We just listened to the youth and oh my God, that was phenomenal. Now they've put you guys on your toes, so you just have to.
It's no competition.
I know. I know. All right. So let's get right into it. Our moderator is right here, Miss Yenye Meshilea. I'm gonna introduce her and I'll read a bio and then she will introduce the panel and then we will get started. This is one panel that I look forward to. I've had the pleasure of meeting everyone on this panel at some point, some repeatedly. So I look forward to learning and tapping from your wealth of wisdom as well. Okay. This panel will be moderated by Dianye Meshilea, who is a certified HR leader with nearly 20 years experience across multiple industries, known for fostering positive workplace cultures and strategic talent management. A proud Nigerian Canadian, she pairs professional excellence with impactful community service, earning awards for leadership and volunteerism. Passionate about inclusion and empowerment, DNA champions environments where individuals and organizations can thrive with purpose. Please make welcome to this virtual stage, Miss Danielle Meshilea.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction, MCTJ.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. It's with great joy and honor to be here at the Power of Inclusion 5.0 conference. Today, our conversation sits under a very powerful subtheme, turning points and truth-telling, uncovering the moments that shape inclusive leaders. Let's be honest. None of us woke up one day and suddenly became inclusive leaders overnight. Inclusive leadership isn't a title you put on your LinkedIn profile. It's a journey that is usually shaped in those moments when things don't go as planned. The times we have had to make tough decisions or had difficult conversations, or even just times when truth-telling cost us something, but silence would have cost us even more. This is what why we're going to have this conversation and uncover today. The turning points, the lessons, and the truths that shape not just leaders, but organizations, communities, and legacies. I am truly honored to be moderating this discussion with these four seasoned professionals who have each walked this path in their own way. Over the next hour or less, we'll hear from their stories, their insights, and their hard-earned wisdom. We'll explore what it really means to lead inclusively, not just in theory, but in practice. Now, I'm going to ask them a few questions, guiding questions, and based on those questions, the panelists will open the floor and respond to the questions. It is a shared conversation. So for you, audience, I encourage you to share your reflections and questions as they come up. Please put them in the chat, because that's how we can all feel like we are all included in the conversation. Now, before I dive into the conversation, I would like to quickly introduce the panel. So I'll start off. He's a chartered banker and inclusive finance leader dedicated Yeah.
Okay. Zoomed. Wow. Okay, she's back.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
we can
thank you.
hear you.
Okay. So Derek has championed Black-owned businesses through access to capital and financial coaching. He's also the VP of Council of African Professionals and the founder of Wealth Hacks 360. Derek inspires communities by blending finance, equity, and lived experiences to fuel generational wealth and transformation. Now, on to Sitlali, the birthday girl. She's a Mexican Canadian, a trilingual professional, and president of Hispanotech. With expertise in social innovation, business strategy, and product manager, she drives digital transformation for Ontario businesses through innovation and collaboration. She's passionate about diversity, equity, women's empowerment, and sustainability. Sitali actively mentors and supports immigrant communities in Canada, also advancing inclusion and leadership through his Panotech and other associations. Efwange Kumba, our third panelist, is a community leader, senior environmental engineer, and mentor dedicated to empowering the next generation. He's founder of Kame SC, and he fosters cultural connection through sport. He serves on the boards of the Council of African Professionals and the African Heritage Center, championing equity, representation, and opportunity. And our very own Lady Aba, Adejisola Atiba, is a purpose-driven trailblazer, strategist, and community leader with over 30 years of professional excellence. She's founder of the Council of Nigerian Professionals and Council of African Professionals. She champions equity, mentorship, and cultural advancement. Crowned Queen Mother in Ghana, she inspires through leadership, authorship, and advocacy. And from this brief introduction of our panelists, you can tell that there's a lot that we're going to take away from them. So I'd like to thank all the panelists for joining us. So this takes me
Sorry, Daniel. Before you go on, your video is not appearing at all.
Oh.
So you might need to maybe turn off your camera, turn it back on. We can see you now. Let's do without the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
thank you.
Starting from a personal journey. This question I will ask to all the panelists, but I would like to start off with Derek. What was a defining turning point in your leadership journey that reshaped your perspective or path?
Thank you so much, Jenny, for the question, and thank you, Taiwo. Happy birthday, Lali, and good to have all of you here. It's a little bit unfair to pair me with all these think tanks. Taiwo, you should have added me to the group that just left. But yeah, it's a privilege to be here and to share these raw stuff, to share these real life stories that can empower and then help impact. I'm happy to be part of this movement, especially under the theme, the impact beyond. I mean, to share real life stuff that really borders on choices of leaders that ripple beyond us into families, organizations, and communities. Um, I have always seen and termed leadership as an opportunity to be followed and not a right to lead people. I personally was graced and privileged to start my leadership journey very early by holding a couple of leadership roles in secondary school, but notably for the records and for serious business at the age of 19, where I made my way to be an account manager in which was supposed to be a casual job, but turned out to be something to hold on to. In a popular restaurant brand in Ghana, my homeland where I come from. Uh, and I moved on from being an account manager to manage two branches in prime areas where I had supervisors, chefs, cooks, store managers who were some of them were twice my age. It was an amazing experience. I transitioned from there to start my banking career as a management trainee, where after graduating as the youngest chartered banker in Ghana, I moved on to international commercial bank, where I held a number of leadership roles before leaving in 2017. I moved on there again to other banks, held a couple of leadership roles, and I currently find myself here in Canada, leading entrepreneurs on the roadmap to financial inclusion. Well, on one of my earliest turning points, it happened that I was seated at a decision-making table, very young and perhaps underestimated. And there was a retrenchment decision where the discussion at the table was unintentionally would lock out people's dreams and burden families' livelihood. Uh, I mean, we all know what retrenchment brings. One of the major things is cutting down staff costs, which was drastically, and as your guess will be as mine, was going to put people out of work, was going to get families, find themselves in a financial quagmire, and decisions by the management that were being taken at the time were not really inclined to the favor of the staff or the personnel. It was more of a business-minded decision, how the business only can survive, and not thinking about how the individuals or the staff or the human capital that has actually propelled the business to whichever state it was at the time, how they were going to do with their families. I remember at the time I was just 21. I was living and dining and whining on my parents' account for free, but I could feel the burden of the negative possibilities ringing in my head. My head was telling me, stay quiet. You're too young. These are big people issues. But my heart and my conscience was pushing me to speak. I remember my voice was shaking, but I said to myself, oh, I have to speak up. And one thing I remember strongly at that point was a scenario that played to my memory. If people are conversant with the story of the lepers of Samaria in the good book in Second Kings, the lepers were like, if we move into the city, we could perish in the hands of the authorities. But if we stay out of the city, we shall perish no matter what. So I mastered courage and I dropped my suggestion. My suggestion was a lot more of a moral or an emotional suggestion. Um, and as an inexperienced leader, I felt it was not going to make business sense. But to my surprise, that was rather accepted on the grounds of reputational risk the business
Mm,
did not want to absorb. From then, my confidence to speak at the table grew.
mm,
I moved on to take the role of middle management, union financial secretary, so that I can speak more.
mm,
Uh, and the advocacy continued from there. There, I learned immediately that leadership isn't about perfection. Obviously, I had no knowledge in leadership. I hadn't really read about leadership. I hadn't attended leadership trainings and courses. I had barely been on that role, leadership, mid-management role for a short while. But my presence at the table, uh, with the little I had, made a difference.
mm,
And leadership, at that point, I realized that it's not just climbing up for yourself, because at that point, I didn't think I had a lot at stake. But lifting others as you climb, and most importantly, thinking others in situations and decisions. Because the fact is, what are leaders made of? Leaders are made because of others. Without these others, the people that follow the leader, then it's just the individual without a leadership title. And I will leave it with a quote from Martin Luther King. that he says that there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but one must take it because conscience tells one it is right. And I'm a Christian. Allow me to. John 8:32 also says, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." So once you know it, you speak it up, and once you take the step, the door's open. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Derek, for that very engaging history of the turning point for you. So I'd like to give an opportunity to the rest of the panel to briefly, tell us about what was the moment that had that reshape for you in your own perspective of leadership. So maybe in 2 minutes each, I want all of you to start off from that personal journey, if you can share. Maybe the next person, Sitlali, over to you.
Thank you so much, and thanks everyone for their birthday wishes. It is very much appreciated, and I value all of them. I wanted to share a specific turning point for me because for the longest time, I've only had male leaders in my career. It was always male, but at some point, I was notified that we would have a female leader, and I was so excited. I thought this was so different, and I had the best positive outcome in my mind. However, it has been the far worst manager I've had. And this is one of the things I learned from this experience is because I think she also had to play by the rules to become a leader in that sector. And it was so difficult, I guess, also for her to assume a position of leadership where she could be authentic and empathetic, but also fit in with the actual or current system of leadership. So I learned so much. I've learned to look at this from a different perspective, but it taught me how I don't want to be, which is also a very valuable lesson. And then I started looking at it from her perspective, and that's how I learned to also be graceful to the people, because you don't know what they are going through. But I wanted to share that specific point where I learned how or what I didn't want to be or to have in a leadership position.
Thank you, Sitali. Mr. Fange, over to you.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and happy birthday, Sitlali. So yeah, this question, it's a bit typical. We have a long journey and we have different challenges and different decisions. But if I want to reflect on one point that actually changed my path when it comes to leadership, it was in my high school days. I was not a model high school student, but at some point, the principal of the school, the discipline master, and some elite teachers decided to have a sit down with me. And not being a model student, when they call you, you know there's something wrong. So I decided to put on the cleanest uniform I could find, good shoes, and went. But by the time I was getting into the office, they were all hugging me and they were like, "Oh, you have to relax." And they are like, "Well, we've seen something in you. The next years in the school, there will be need for leadership and people who can guide other students. And we believe that you are one of the top candidates." So I didn't know what to say. I was not expecting that. But that in itself made me to self-reflect. I never knew I could be a leader. I never knew I had the possibility to speak in front of people. I never knew I could inspire people. So during that short meeting, I was like, okay, let me go think about this and come back. And they were like, no, we are going to guide you. If you need anything, just let us know. We've noticed you taking care of these students, and we want you to continue doing that. And the next year, you'll be taking an important role in high school. I think I was 16 or 17. I can't really remember. And the next year, yeah, I became one of the school prefects with very huge responsibility. I was responsible for managing time for the whole school, including the staff. So I think in my path, that was the turning point that I actually felt like, okay, I have something that I can contribute to the community. And one of the things that they told me that was I should look at this as a contribution towards the community for the last year that I'll be in school. And when I leave, the school will never forget me because my name will be engraved
as one of the prefects. And so since then, I've had different leadership roles up to today. I was trying to inspire people. It changes from time to time, but I think my path, that was the point where I believe changed everything for me.
Thank you, Mr. Fwange. And Lady Abba, over to you. What was the defining moment for you, the turning point?
Thank you so very much, Daniel. Before I go into the turning point, I really need to appreciate everybody on the screen here. These are my leadership team, including you, Setlali. Daniel is part of the leadership. Derek is my son. Efwange. Efwange, my brother from another mother, and of course, Setlali, my sister from another mother. It's so great to have you all here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being vulnerable. I know that this is going to be a learning process for every one of us. Thank you. So in terms of moments, I would say it's actually moments for me. It started with my father. If anybody listened to my TED Talk, I talked about the powerful voice of the parent. My father instilled in me that I could be anything I want to be. It really gave me the strength and wings to fly at a very, very tender age. He believed in me. It kind of spoiled me. I enjoyed it while it lasted until it was no more. And I still miss him so terribly. He's been gone for over 30 years and I still miss him. So it started with my father. And then the fact that my mother is very, very hardworking. She's always out of the house, traveling. I'm the first of my moms. And so I became a leader. We do things that we don't even know where it's going to lead. I've been leading my siblings, and when my father died, it kind of fell on me again. So, and that was why when I was old enough to have a baby, I didn't even want to have any because I felt I've babied people all my life. So when I had one, and 10 years later I had another one, I'm like, okay, enough already. I only have two hands. I can't take anymore. And of course, when I was in elementary school, for some reason, even though I was very tiny, I was casted for roles to act. So I was acting as early as nursery, primary school. We call it primary. Here we call it elementary. I was acting every fortnight. I was in a boarding house, and we're always acting. And so my self-esteem got better and better. And by the time I got to high school, I was actually a prefect. I was very active in sports. So all these things kind of merged together. There's a girlfriend that I saw after like 25 years. I met the husband first, and when the husband mentioned my name to her, she said, if it's the same person I knew, I am not surprised. She's always been like that. So there's so many factors that happens in our life that we don't know where it's gonna take us. But if we're open, yeah, before they started saying be open-minded, we've been open-minded all our lives, right? They're just using the buzzwords now, but that has always been our life. I'm gonna stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you, for sharing your personal story on the defining moment for your leadership turning point. So this leads us to the next question, which is going to dig deeper into truth telling. While I still have you, Lady Abba, on the table, on the red seat, can you share a moment when telling an uncomfortable truth challenged you, but ultimately strengthened your leadership?
To be candid, I would say it became very uncomfortable when I came to Canada. I don't know if we all experienced it, it was just me, I don't know. But coming to Canada, my background, banker, you have all this qualification. I felt I was the best in since sliced bread, that everybody is just gonna rush at me and, they want to have a piece of me. And it was shocking. It was really shocking. And yes, the tendency is for every one of us to put our head down and just walk and say our work is going to speak for itself. It doesn't. I realized that in Canada, you need to speak up. Otherwise, nobody's going to hear you. So, it came to that space where I was speaking to friends and I said, we know what we've been through. Do we want others? Because there's going to be others coming, right? Do we want them to go through the same? So why don't we do something about it? And staying silent was just no longer an option. Putting your head down, just slogging away was no longer an option. And what I realized is that when you put your head down and slog away, people are going to complain. When you put your head up and speak up, people are going to complain. So you got to choose which one you want. I said it before when we were talking in the morning. I said, do you want to live a life, just live life, or you want to live a life of impact? You got to choose you, right? Do you want to be lazy or you want to be hardworking? Because nothing is easy. And so that was the moment. It was not enough to keep quiet. It was time to speak up. And yes, there's going to be a lot of negativity. There still is. It doesn't matter because I know I chose to live a life of impact. Thank you.
That's very powerful, Lady Yaba. And there's something I usually I used to think I was very, very strong. I used to go like, oh, I'm a strong person. So much of life has happened to me, so I can take on anything. And then more things happened. And I got to the realization that strength is something that we can never say we have achieved and have accomplished because something will come to challenge you again. So staying open to, learning, finding support, and just walking through those discomforts, right, will help us surpass again and again. So when hearing you speak kind of reminded me of that statement to myself. And that takes me to the next question or the next subject of resilience. So I would like to start with Mr. Fwange. How did you navigate setbacks or failures? And what role did honesty with yourself or others play in moving forward? While Mr. Fanga is answering that, I would like others to have like a 1 minute input to to his response. So Mr. Fanga, over to you.
Okay, I think I'm somehow the ideal person for that question. As I said before, I was not an ideal student. I almost dropped out of high school because of bad grades. And after repeating so many times, you yourself believe you are not up to the task. And suddenly you sit back and say, you know what, all of my friends are ahead of me. I have to pick up myself and do something for myself. And because I made that decision, I became one of the best students of the school. And when I wrote the public exam at the time, one of the subjects, I think I was among the 5 best out of about, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 students. So that gave me so much confidence in myself and a lot of resilience. It made me believe I could do anything. And that was the reason I told myself that I'm going to learn German and move over to Germany, which was a completely unrealistic challenge that I put myself onto it. And because I was so confident in myself and I told the whole family that that's what is going to happen, and my parents and uncles were not very happy about it, I told one of my cousins who was in Germany at the time about my plan. And he told me, okay, let's do it. So my first semester in university in Cameroon, I was an excellent A grade student. And the whole family was so excited about it. And he came out with a plan to take a step back or a setback and that I shouldn't do so well so that the family will have no other option but to send me to Germany. And and if you look at my grades were terrible in the second semester. And at that time, I had also decided to pick up construction management. to raise funds. A teenager with no bank account managing a construction site. And that challenged me or put me in a position to challenge myself. And throughout my leadership career, I've always looked back at those and whatever challenge I have, I've always reminded myself that, you know what, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to step back, look at what you've achieved, look at some of the challenges that you've gone through, and whatever we are facing now is really, really minute. I remember there was one time my dad described me as a survivalist champion. That every time I find myself in the struggle, I somehow find a way to get out of it. And it's just this idea that you have to be honest to yourself. Sometimes sit back, look at what you have done, look at what your friends have achieved, and evaluate how much you can do. And uh, as we move forward in life and as leaders, we should always expect these challenges. There's always going to be a new one. And COVID taught me one thing. As an environmental engineer, one of the biggest challenges we had in school, or one of the things that we tried to do, was to focus temperature change in 100 years. And we did all sorts of mathematics and all sorts of challenges. And what I learned in COVID is that if we all decide to stay home and don't drive for 3 months, we can actually change the world's temperature by almost 2 degrees centigrade. But I don't think the best mathematicians or the best chemists or whatever person in the world could have ever figured that out. So sometimes we have to leave our realities and experiment on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fange. So I will call on Mr. Derek in 1 minute. What's your input
Thank you so
on
much.
resilience?
Thank you, and that's a wonderful delivery, Ifwange. Well, I take it from this point. Success is actually not a destination, and I don't know who actually measures failure with what barometer. Um, I believe that in everything, it is courage that gets the continuation to count. Personally, I've had projects as a leader, I've had projects collapse on me. I've had initiatives not working. I don't want to use the word fail. And in those moments, my instincts were like the normal human axiom, go hide. But I learned resilience requires honesty, first with myself and then with others. So for me, resilience as a leader, when it comes to finding yourself at points where you feel you hit the wall or all the odds are against you. I remember practically, I call my team and we discuss why it did not work, and then what we could have done better to make it work, what we learned out of it. I mean, transparency turned the disappointment rather into a fuel for excellence. So, resilience, these are some of the ways or the vehicles I use to go through to be resilient and get out of finding myself at the wall and not knowing what to do as a leader. I become very transparent. I lay the cards bare, and then we find collectively myself and the team work together for success. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lady Abba, over to you in 1 minute.
Thank you so much. When I hear that word, what comes to mind is 1, focus. 2, intentionality. 3, continuous learning. 4, not taking no for an answer. I always say that when I hear no, it means next opportunity. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter who's coming from. The youth were saying make lemonade. I stopped making lemonade a long time with lemons. I make champagne. You got to create who you want to be. By the time I had some zing into it, some pepper into it, believe you me, it's going to become champagne. If everybody is making lemonade, how am I different? Right? Not giving up in spite of all the odds. The odds are always going to be against you. Who cares? Especially women. The odds are going to be against you. You can't be against yourself, period. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you, Lady Ava. And Sitlali?
Thank you. I will just add to all the beautiful words you've said is the vulnerability piece that I think is the most inspiring to others when you share your shortcomings, your obstacles, how you overcame them. This becomes an inspiring story and motivation to others who might be in a similar situation and they feel like giving up. And this is something that the person going through that has to be vulnerable enough, honest enough with themselves about what the difficulties are, so others can really keep the fight on and keep motivated, because this is the point. There's reinvention, there's lessons learned, all of the, like Derek mentioned, it's not failure, it's always something to be learned. And I will just share, there's a Mexican initiative that entrepreneurs share how they messed up at some point. The word is a bit obscene, so I will not share it here, but it is a Mexican initiative that's global now with chapters all over the place. And it's just entrepreneurs sharing how they didn't get the things right on from the first time, and it's impossible to get right from the first time. But we don't give enough grace to ourselves to fail, and we need to change that mindset.
Thank you, Sitlali. And I'm not going to let you go because what you said kind of takes me to the next question on legacy. Looking back, which decision or truth-telling moment do you believe most defined your leadership legacy so far?
Thank you. I like this question a lot because I think often of our panel, the previous panel. Like Lady Ava mentioned, this is the present and the future. And I'm thinking even in younger people that the point where I understood my role is a lot of people are looking at me, old and younger, women and male. I don't really know my influence levels, my circle, I don't know, but I understood with one conversation with one family member what their intentions are and how I could help shape and focus their potential. And it's important for me because even though they might not follow our suggestions or proposed ideas, they are looking up to you in some capacity. So even if you don't see yourself as a leader, you are. Everyone is. And it's important to put good role models, good examples, honesty, not bribing officials. It's important to set up examples so they can know what's right at the moment. And that is a very simple and basic example. It was a family situation, it was a very informal conversation that made me realize the importance of me setting up the pathway of what's right. They can decide to do something else, but they know what's right. And that's what shapes what I do right now.
Thank you for that. And Mr. Fwange, still pulling from your shared experience in your personal life with your educational journey, I'd like to ask you a question about courage versus consequences. How do you balance the risk of telling the truth with the responsibility of protecting relationships or organizations?
Well, sometimes you keep the truth and the truth is going to tell itself. And coming from an African background, sometimes you know that you are doing this is the right thing. Your community is not going to understand it. Your community is not going to see into it. You just have to make sure that when the truth is telling itself, it has to be perfect. You don't have to leave areas for questioning and areas of doubt. So if you make a decision like I did to go to Germany and learn a language, there was no way I'm going to come back to say I didn't succeed. The questions that you are going to have at that stage will be way too much. So and we have a lot of instances, especially here in Canada, where you have to try things that nobody has tried or nobody is willing to try, especially in our jobs. You go in there, they have templates, they have things that some people have done for 60, 50 years. And one of the biggest things that I've learned as a supervisor or a manager in engineering is when I'm dealing with these young university students, is to tend to them when it comes to these computer things and tell them, you know what, I know there's a better technology out there that can do these things. You guys go look at it and come and teach me. I'm not going to be able to look at it. I'm not going to be able to know about it. It's your responsibility to figure it out and come and teach me. So I think those are truths that people my age, I think we have to live in this computer age, that there are certain technologies. And I mean, we are now dealing with AI, and I think most of us are now playing catch up with our kids. And so the truth is we have to take a step back, turn back to them, and allow them to come guide us, teach us, mentor us in this new challenging world. And the world is changing so fast. That's another thing that we all here have to be truthful with ourselves. We can no longer run and jump as high as we used to. I know African men, where especially those from countries who support their soccer, they believe they can still be soccer stars at the age of 40 and 50. Or those who play cricket. I've met my Indian friends who told me at the age of, I think, 46, that if he had the chances that his kids have, about 10 years ago, he could have still be a cricket star. And I'm like, no, you will be too old for that. He had a huge argument that he's bought them everything that you need to play cricket. If his parents had given him that opportunity, even when he was there at his mid-30s, he would have done it. So yeah, we have to be realistic to ourselves. We have to understand that we have to learn from others. And we have to tell the truth, first of all, to ourselves and accept the truth within us. And then it's going to be a smooth riding.
Thank you, Mr. Fange. I do like that you talked about mentorship and, teaching and transferring knowledge and skill sets and all of that. And that brings me to Lady Abba. Lady Abba, you've done a lot of mentorship. You've created spaces for mentorship programs. How have your truth-telling moments influenced how you mentor or guide the next generation of leaders?
Thank you, Jane. Very, very heavy question. And I'm going to be very, very truthful here. So mentoring the next generation is me actually telling my truth. But I do, however, want to say that my truth doesn't necessarily have to be your truth, because we have different experiences, different careers, different skill sets, different things, and our background is different. And I want to pause here. I think I've mentioned it so many times recently. We all know that there is no handbook for parenting. We see what our parents do to us, for us, and there's some of them that we just want to change because we feel we can do better. And as we're changing and massaging all the training that we got to give to our kids, we're going to make our own mistakes. My being a mentor to anyone or even legacy does not necessarily mean I am perfect, because I am not. We all need to look within and just make sure that whatever we're doing it to the best of our ability. I believe in God, and I believe in God of the Bible. And I was talking to a friend, and for some reason they said, you know what, you're like David. And I sat back and I'm like, I am like David. I always tell people I'm a work in progress. I could be very headstrong. And at times you think that I'm going to blow up. I'll just smile and go. I guess it comes with maturity too, growing older. I have, I understand when somebody is bullshitting me. I just move on. I smile and I move on. There's no point wasting my energy when I already know what the outcome is going to be. But in spite of the flaws that David portrayed, what did God say about him? He's a man after my own heart. What am I saying in essence? I've mentored a lot of people. There's been people have created spaces for me. I've created spaces for people. We have co-created spaces together. But everything I am doing, and I feel everybody is doing, is giving the best they know how to. And the
Yeah.
next generation can work on it and improve on it and make it better. But the whole idea is to make the next generation, but that's why we're doing what we're doing. People have asked me, why do you go through all this stress? Right? And I'm like, I do it for me, whether we like it or not. When we do this kind of things, we're sharpening our own skills.
Mm.
And I do it for my children because whether we like it or not, we're creating connections that our children will use. And I'm doing it for your children, dear. And I know you're doing the same for my children. We got to be selfish about certain things. We got to know why we're doing what we're doing. Every little thing. See, what we do today is history tomorrow. So it's either you do or you don't. I said it before. It's either you choose lazy or you choose hard work. It's either you choose to keep quiet or you speak. I choose to speak up. I choose to be that, I don't know, maybe loud woman. I don't think I speak loudly unless I'm talking to my husband, I guess. Everybody else, I don't. So, I mean, yeah, we're just doing the best we can and shaping the legacies to the best of our ability. They may look at it tomorrow and say, oh, that Lady Abba, this, that. But the point is, they knew Lady Abba did something. They're not going to mention people that did nothing, right? Because nothing doesn't add value to anybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Lady Abba. And I would like to call on Derek in 1 minute. If you can also talk about community impact. You can choose to reflect through the lens of mentorship or just share a story about where being candid and authentic have helped to create, a greater trust or unity within the community or organization that you serve. In 1 minute, please.
Okay. Um, being candid and authentic, I'll go straight to the point. Uh, at some point, I openly acknowledge mistakes in a leadership action, in resource allocation. I expected a backlash. Instead, I saw notes from the people. People felt seen. Um, I believe the vulnerability rather built trust, and the trust rebuilt unity. Um, Communities don't demand perfection from leaders, I believe. They demand sincerity, authenticity, and which unites them together. Pretense gives the reverse. Authenticity in itself fuels perfection. So this is what I will say in 1 minute.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah.
Sitlali, on identity and leadership, how have your personal identity, background, or lived experiences shaped the truths you've had to stand by as a leader?
Thanks, Danny. I love this question as well because I wanted everyone to reflect on the concept of intersectionality. If anyone is not familiar with that or you haven't heard about it, I would really encourage you to learn a bit about this concept. And I learned about that with a very specific example that I would like to share here. And it's important for all of us to introspect on this one. Imagine you only have 3 personalities, and personalities can be, I'm a Mexican woman of this certain age. So imagine you only get to keep 2. How would your experience change or shift if you only get to live with those other 2? Of course, our personalities are compounded by several other elements, including my college education, my coming to Canada, that I have no kids. All those things shape who I am and how I approach the world. So with this in mind, I'm always mindful of my role as a woman leader. And this is what shapes my leadership style. And you will see I am very biased on women empowerment. I will always make an effort to showcase women, to shout out anyone that's women-led initiative. I would have panelists as women. So it's a lot of my own bias there because I've struggled as a woman in this society. So very short, this is what I wanted to share. Please look up for intersectionality as a concept.
That's a very good bias, I must say. So for the future of leaders, I'd like to call Mr. Fwange. What advice would you give young leaders about embracing turning points and truth-telling moments in their own journeys?
If I had to, first of all, advise myself before advising anybody as a young leader, I would have told myself that at a younger age, you should take that responsibility. I should have recognized by my own success that I could have been a leader way, way before others saw that I was a leader. And as Lady Abba said, we should listen to our parents. Our parents are always going to give us a right direction. So those are the first two things that any young person should put in mind. The third thing that I'll advise is if you ever have an opportunity as a young person that you want to be a leader in whatever, in your career or in the community or in this space, try to reach out to the old and retired people. And I'm going to take a bit of time here to just follow me on this. So all of us sitting here on this panel, we do have work, we do have other things that we're doing. So if a young person comes and say, I have my resume, I want you to review it, and that's something that I do regularly, I'm going to spend most likely 2-3 hours on it max. And I've known that I've done my best. If you go and meet somebody who has the same experience like me or similar experience, but he is retired, he has time. He's going to take a week or 2 weeks to look at your resume. He's going to call you to follow up what you are going to do. And he's going to mentor you just because of that one question. So we need to get closer, even though you are young, you need to get as close as possible to the elderly. They are going to make sure that the mistakes that they've made, maybe in the last 50 or 60 years, you don't make that mistake. Those of us who are still, or your classmates and age groups, they might not have made any of those mistakes, and so they will not be willing to. They will not have that experience to guide you. So always reach out. And the last thing is to save your community. If you make whatever mistake you made, we've heard Derek said he made mistakes and all that, your community is never going to throw you. They don't have a place to throw you out. When you get to the job market, we can easily say, we don't want to see you tomorrow, we'll close the doors and you're not coming back here. That doesn't happen in your community. It doesn't happen in your church or your mosque, or if you are a religious person. They'll always tell you, oh yeah, this thing that you did is wrong. Let's pray for you. Let's treat it this way. You're always going to be accepted. So get that opportunity as early as possible. Get that experience as early as possible. Then implement it in your career. Once you get your career, you are going to meet people that you've never met in your life. I'm talking even in terms of the way they speak, the way they look, the way they act. You'll be meeting people who are like aliens. And those experiences that you've gained in managing things or leadership roles or those mistakes that the elders have corrected you, you will navigate the roles in your corporation or any organization very, very smoothly. So yeah, that would be my advice to the next generation of leaders.
Thank you, Mr. Fwange. And as we wrap up, I want to ask, or rather, I would like to ask all attendees to take a moment to reflect. Reflect on how you feel. If you want to put in the chat, please feel free to do so either with an emoji or with even your comments. Have you ever had a time that you had to speak up in a room where you felt you were outnumbered? The reason I'm asking you to reflect on this is because there will be a moment in our lives that we'll all be called to action. reflect on it. Take a moment, even after this session today, this conversation ends, reflect on it deeply. Why? How did you feel? Were you able to speak up or you were not able to speak up? Understand why you were able to speak up. And if you were not able to speak up, also understand why you were not able to. And with that, I would like to call on all the panelists in 1 minute. Please share what is the call to action that you in, let's say, in a world where leaders are often pressured to conform, how can we create more spaces for authenticity, truth, and transformative leadership? Maybe I'll start with Lady Yaba.
Thank you so much. The first thing I will say is you got to know yourself. You need to know the who that you are, right? And knowing yourselves helps you to be able to navigate a lot of things. And maybe some of this knowing yourself also comes with age. I don't know. But yeah, right? I'm an old woman. So getting to a certain stage in my life, like I said, I know when somebody's, just words, when I'm just hearing words and no action behind it. I always say that it's important to know your vision in life. It's part of knowing yourself. My vision that realized in me growing up and all the things that I've been doing as a young person till now, everything we do kind of culminates to something. My vision is actually to support people, to mentor people, to guide people. And, as I'm doing it, like I said, I'm sharpening my skills, and I'm sharpening their skills too. That is my vision. And we always think that when we volunteer, that maybe we're just spending time, and not getting anything back. No, we are getting a lot more back than even the volunteering that we're doing. So know who you are. Don't let anybody put your round peg into a square hole. Know what your vision, your purpose in life is, because it's important. It will guide you, every step of the way. Be true to yourself.
Thank you, Lydia.
Be true to yourself. Thank you.
And Derek, what is the call to action?
Thank you, Jenny. I would also want to remind everyone that leadership is not a straight line. It is shaped by defining moments, the uncomfortable truths, the courage to embrace these moments and the truths. And true leadership is not about the power we hold or the title we write to affix to our names or the office we occupy, but really the authenticity that it embodies and the decisions we make in those pivotal moments. That's being mindful of the fact that the impact ripples and goes far beyond what we can see now and around us. I would also want to remind people that I have learned that courage to speak must be matched with wisdom in delivering that speech. Um, Timing, tone, intent, they all matter. Truth should not only challenge, it should foster the building of a sound ecosystem. So as leaders, we need to know the temperature of what we drop out in speaking up. Really, the function of leaders or leadership is actually to produce more leaders. I believe any leader who's unable to replicate is does not really merit to be tagged as a leader. So we should go out there. Everyone is a leader. At least if you don't think or feel or know you're a leader, you've been leading yourself for as old as you are. From the day you were birthed up until now, you've been leading yourself. So you're a leader. Go out there, speak up, build others, continue to replicate, and let's make the world a better place for all of us to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Derek. Afwanya, your call to action in 1 minute.
Yeah, okay, so what I would like to leave everybody is I think we need to get out of our comfort zones and go to places that are not comfortable and go there to contribute. I think I can guarantee you that tomorrow somebody is going to ask me which part of Nigeria are you from. When they hear that you I'm one of the board members in the Council of Nigerian Professionals, which we are changing now to Council of African Professionals. And it was a decision to move to where I believe I could contribute. And I think I contributed there to the point where those who thought I was not Nigerian are now wondering how it's possible that I'm not Nigerian. So we need to look at opportunities. There are a lot of avenues out there. You must not support the CNP or CAP. You can support other organizations, but please just get out of where you're comfortable and take your leadership to where it's needed.
Thank you. Sitlali, over to you.
Yes, I love to be the final one because I've been through all the sessions since 10 a.m. and I've heard so many great insights. It's impossible to give a summary that makes them all as impactful as they were. But I want to my call to action would be to don't lose our humanity. We sometimes, I've seen examples and we see this in world leaders as well, they lose their humanity. And then we are at their expense, we are at their desires, and then their ambitions are all over the place. And we shouldn't allow that. So my call to action is to remind ourselves all the time that there's power in unity, that collaboration brings us way further and to more sustainable progress. And then it's lifting each other up. Leadership is about lifting others. And then, like everyone mentioned, we are all leaders in our own small influence circles. And I would leave you with that introspection of who is looking up to you and what is the example you are setting.
Thank you. Thank you, Sitlali. I'm looking through the chats here. I don't see any questions, so just comments. So thank you. Keep them coming. And to close off this conversation, I would first of all like to say thank you to all of you panelists. Listening to you all and reflecting on my own journey, one thing is clear. Turning points don't wait for perfect conditions. There's no perfect condition. They often come disguised as challenges, but those are the very moments that shape us into more inclusive leaders. And truth telling, it might cost us in the moment, but the impact beyond is always greater. So I'd like to thank all of you again and hand over to the MC, TG. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, people talk a lot about the panelists, forgetting that, the moderator actually does the good job of asking the questions, driving the train, carrying everybody along, and she has a perpetual smile on her face, So thank you, Daniel. Then thank you to all the panelists. Thank you, Fuange. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Sitlali. Thank you, Lady Abba. I was wondering, yes, thank you. I see the chat. Kudos to the MC too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was wondering, like, okay, why haven't we add the CNP board, being speakers all along? They've been serving, they've been busy working behind the scenes, and this is one of the one of the deepest sessions I've witnessed in my 5 years of attending this conference. This is really deep, telling ourselves the truth, talking about turning points and all of that. Kudos to all of you. Thank you. It's been a long day, and we've all been here. We've come to the end of this virtual event, and then I will call on Lady Abba to give a few remarks, and then I'll make one or two announcements, and then I'll call on Pastor Banjo to give the vote of thanks, and then we will call it a night because we have to be at the venue bright and early tomorrow. to make sure everything is set for everyone. All right, Lady Abba, over to you.
Thank you so much again. Please, I would like everyone to stay so that we can close it all together. So when Pastor Banjo has said, is vote of thanks, I want us to all be together to wish everybody a fantastic time. So does everybody know how many speakers that actually spoke today, including the MCs and the moderators? Does anybody know?
40?
It seems like it, because you, me, both, and August the MC, and a few other people have been here all morning, all day, right? You can see me yawning and I'm putting my hand in my mouth. I'm super tired. No, it wasn't up to 40. Did you say 40? No, it wasn't up to 40. It wasn't up to 40, but it was more
32.
than, sorry?
I said 31.
Oh, very close, very, very close. We've had 24. So you can
I should
imagine.
have listened to my mind. My mind said 25.
You should have listened to your mind. Whose voice is?
That's Pastor Banjo.
Pastor Banjo, please put on your camera so we can hide you. So 2024 today, and we're having 2 keynotes tomorrow. We heard the King today is also gonna speak tomorrow, and then we have Mr. Courtney Betty, who will be joining us as a keynote tomorrow. So can you imagine what it takes to actually put 25 people together to speak? And not only that, tomorrow we're going to be celebrating 48 award recipients in 8 categories. 48 award recipients. And so before the closing remarks, I just needed to say a few things to all these amazing speakers and MCs and moderators. On behalf of the entire POI 5.0 organizing team, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you. I mean, when Mario Zantena was talking, he said, because of this topic, I had to research and I learned a few things. People don't just come to speak. They learn while they're doing things. So as we're learning from them, they have learned too. That's how we shape each other. I will use Mario again. He said it's difficult to connect with people that are not from your culture or that do not have the same interest as you. And I want to stress it that that's something that we consistently do at CMP-CAP. This may well be the last time we're going to say CMP because it's 7 years. We're moving to the next 100 years with CAP. And I sincerely hope that there will be a time when CMP, CAP, and all the likes will be a thing of the past. It won't be something that is needed again because everyone is dealing with each other with humanity. Everyone is leaving their comfort zone and getting to meet someone else. Everyone is not just doing the barest minimum, but going above and beyond to ensure everyone is seen, heard, and included. And that's exactly what you speakers have done today. We called on you, you heard us, you joined us, you shared your knowledge. We are truly grateful. As we look ahead to tomorrow, unfortunately, we cannot take more tickets. We're ticket out, if there's such a word as that. But it's going to be a fantastic time because all of the speakers are going to be there. So I just want to say thank you because you cannot say thank you enough. Even God that created us said we should thank him. So to all our speakers from morning, the King, Dr. Wendy Suke, Patricia Bibier, Dr. Philomene Zangio. Seriously, I can't mention everybody, but you know yourself, 24 of you, leaders in your own right. Thank you. And to all the board members, seriously, you are simply amazing. I could not want to work with anybody else but you. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the flag going. And to everybody listening to us, if you want to be part of this, info@CMPNGO is what we are. We are going to start planning for next year from now on. And all those financial literacy that we talked about, that is our forte. If you have any program you want us to do, let's co-create it together. Let's work together. Let's build our community together so that our children will thank us for it. So thank you again, and back to you, MC Taiwo. And thank you, MC Taiwo. Oh, Baba, where are you? Oh my God, Baba, where are you? Baba, where are you? Thank you. He made the entire day simply amazing. The music, the sax, the light. Where are you? Has he gone? Are we not going to end with music, Baba? You got to come back, you know. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lady Abba. I don't know how we all manage to keep our energy intact, but I mean, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. So tomorrow we look forward to meeting everyone that's already got a ticket. We look forward to networking and celebrating ourselves. Like Lady Abba said, there will be 48 award recipients tomorrow, for different categories. So we look forward to that. There'll be a keynote, there'll be, a gala, and of course, networking opportunities. So let's endeavor to be there early tomorrow. I think it's at 5 p.m.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Either ways, I will be there from noon. So yeah, 4 p.m. tomorrow, and then we look forward to seeing everyone. Thank you so much, Baba. Baba has kept our heads nodding and stopped us from dozing off. So thanks a lot, Baba. And I will hand over to Pastor. Baba, hold on, wait first. we know we want to quickly give a vote of thanks, and I'll call on Pastor Adebola Banjo, who will do the honors of giving us the vote of thanks for tonight. Over to you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Loud and
I
clear.
believe so. All right, thank you. Well, this is POI 5.0 in the books right there. We started with a bang. It's kicked off excellently well. I'm so excited. And let me say, in terms of vote of thanks, I'm grateful first and foremost to the Almighty for the way everything went today. A lot of exciting sessions, and it was really, really phenomenal. So let me say thanks first to the Almighty, and whatever your faith is, the Almighty, what that Almighty is to you, we are all collectively giving thanks to that being. Now, that said, I had a few things I wanted to say, but Lady Abba said it all, so I'm not going to bore you to try to repeat so many of the things. The MCs also have repeated a couple of the things. But having said that, the one thing I would have loved to say, that I want to keep and say, is that what is the prize for the person that had the closest guest to the number of speakers today? I want to know that prize, so direct it my way. But that said, honestly, I want to add my voices to give special thanks, to everyone, the sponsors, the organizing committee, that made today possible. Special thanks again to the MC, to Baba. Baba was phenomenal. That was, with keeping us, active with his music. He's a music maestro. So, we love him, Baba. Great job. Thank you, Mr. MC. Thank you, all the speakers. Thank you, organizing. Thank you, board members. And let me also say this, I think we already heard this, let's go home with, a plan of action. Let's not be doers, but let's not be hearers alone, but let's be doers of what we have heard. Let's take what we've had and all the insights and put it into practice. That's what will keep this conversation going. The moment, a lot of momentum has been built up, so we have to keep it going, and we'll look forward to POI 6.0. I just want to say that, we did hear from a variety of people, the young, the experts. We even heard from the doctor, people, community leaders, savvy, and all the sessions were amazing. So thank you. And I was really, really impressed about the French version as well. I used to be a student of French, so just hearing some words being familiar was quite good. So with all of that, my last word is that no man is an island. We work together, and Lady Abba has invited everyone to join. If you are not yet part of the group, please join in. The CNP website is your friend. All the recordings are there, so go there, watch again and again and again, and subscribe to when you watch all the videos here, and you will be glad you did. Till then, for those that we'll see tomorrow at the gala, I can't wait to see you all dressed up nice, and it's going to be fun. So till then, I will say adios, au revoir, good night, asante sana, whichever language. Have a blessed night and see you bright and nice, bright and looking beautiful tomorrow evening when we meet. Take care. Peace.
Can we all say welcome to POI 5.0?
Welcome to POI 5.0.
5.0.
We gotta say it together. MC, do you want to cue us?
Yeah, let's have a countdown. So we'll say welcome to POI 5.0 after the count of 3. Are we ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to POI 5.0.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
DJ Cypher Lee in the mix.
Bye-bye.
Mix the mix. Somebody say fire.